Hello, welcome to Prince on Air, and this is our another video of chapter number 1, that is some basic concepts of chemistry of class 11. Okay, so in our previous videos we have discussed about the basic concept related to the chemistry here, and now we will discuss about the next concept, that is the laws of chemical combination. Just introduce the let's introduce the topics that we have to cover in this lecture, that is the laws of chemical combinations. Okay, there are total 5 laws that we will discuss here, and in some books there are 6 laws introduced. Okay, so according to NCERT we have to follow only 5 laws here. Okay, now the Dalton's atomic theory we will discuss here, then we will discuss about atomic and molecular mass, how to calculate the molecular mass, average atomic mass and formula mass. Okay, so all that topic we will cover in this lecture. Clear? So firstly, the laws of chemical combination. Why there is a need of chemical laws? Okay, as you know, the laws are for the betterment also, but here the laws are the factual things, means that are happening. Okay, that are usually happening in the forms of any chemical reaction or chemical combinations. Okay, so the combination of the elements to form compound is governed by the following 5 laws. Okay, so if there is any chemical combination is done, so there will be only these 5 laws may be happen. Okay, these 2 laws are based upon the volume laws, and these 3 laws are based upon the laws related to the mass. Okay, so these are based upon mass. Okay, and these 2 laws, last 2 laws, are based upon the volumes. So first one is the law of conservation of mass, second one is law of constant composition and definite proportions, third one is law of multiple proportions, fourth one is Gay-Lussac's law of gaseous volume and Avogadro's law. See, here we will discuss only the definitions and the examples, little bit examples related to these laws. We will not introducing here the numerical portion. Okay, the problems we will discuss at the last, that is related to the back exercise problems of NCERT in text questions at the last in the different, or you can say the separate lectures. Okay, clear? So these 5 laws we have to introduce here: law of conservation of mass, law of constant composition and definite proportion, law of multiple proportion, law of Gay-Lussac's law of gaseous volume and Avogadro's law. Clear? So first law is law of conservation of mass. This law, I think so you have studied in your previous classes, that related to the mass can neither be created nor be destroyed. Okay, it states that mass can neither be created nor be destroyed, or mass and energy are interconvertible, but the total mass and energy of the system remains constant. Now what is this? Firstly, the definition is given by, that is the Antoine Lavoisier. This law is given by Antoine Lavoisier, and he states that mass can neither be created nor be destroyed. Means the if A, for example, if A and B are 2 reactants, okay, these are 2 reactants, they combine to form C and D. These are 2 products. Okay, these are 2 products. If A and B combine to form B and C, A and B are reactants and C and D products. The total mass of reactant, okay, total mass of reactant should be equals to total mass of product. If A has mass M1, B has mass M2, C has mass M3 and D has mass M4. So there should be M1 plus M2 equals to M3 plus M4. Okay, so that is given here according to this law. Okay, so means the mass can neither be created nor be destroyed. The total mass of the system will be conserved. Okay, that's why this is known as the conservation of mass, law of conservation of mass. But according to Einstein, Einstein has given the equation that is E is equals to mc square. Okay, E is equals to mc square. So in this, according to this equation, mass and energy are interconvertible to each other. So that's why the statement of this law has changed, that is mass and energy are interconvertible, but the total mass and energy of the system remains constant. Okay, and one more thing, so many reactions, so many experimental observations are also observed, through which we have given the deduction of this law, and we have given the new definition of this law. Okay, so actually that for an isolated system, the total mass of sum of mass and energy of the system will be conserved or constant. Okay, so this is the actual definition of law of conservation of mass. Clear? Any both you can use in your examinations also. Now here we have a question related to that. Just me, this is an example I have given to this. Clear? So see here, if 6.3 gram of NaHCO3 means NaHCO3, it is 6 gram, okay, are added to 15 gram of CH3COOH, acetic acid. Okay, 15 gram. Solution, the residue found. Okay, now whenever the reaction occurs, the residue found, what they are saying, the residue, we don't know. If you firstly, if you know the reaction, how that reaction is occurring, then you can make the product. If you don't know the reaction, they have given some things like the mass of carbon dioxide released. So means carbon dioxide will be produced. Okay, that is x gram, because we have to calculate this. Okay, what is the mass of carbon dioxide released in the reaction, and residue. Okay, residue, that is they have given 18 gram. Now as I told you, A plus B to form C plus D. Okay, mass of A, M1, M2, M3, M4. Now here we have to calculate M3. As I told you, M1 plus M2 should be equals to M3 plus M4. M1 is given here, that is 6 gram. M2 is given here 15 gram. M3 x, M4 18. So x will be 6 plus 15, 21. 21 minus 18, that will be 3 gram. Okay, so answer will be 3 gram. Is it clear now? Okay, so in this way you can make it sure. Yeah, but here they have given 6.3. So if they are giving 6.3, so in that way you can use that 6.3 here. You will get x is equals to 3.3 gram. So in any way you can use that equation. Okay, so this is a just example how to do. Now if you want to know that residue, the residue are water and sodium acetate. Clear? So let's move. Next one is law of constant composition or it is also known as definite proportions. Now it is given by Joseph Prost. Okay, Joseph Prost, like here. So Joseph Prost given the equation that is a pure chemical compound always contain the same elements combined together in the same definite proportion by weight. What is the meaning of this? See, listen carefully. A pure chemical compound is the given chemical compound. It may be water, it may be CaCO3, okay, anyone, or it may be CuCO3, okay, anyway. Always contains same elements, okay, that elements should be same, combined together in the same definite proportion by weight. For example, if I am taking the water from the tap water, okay, river water, but if I am having the pure water, okay, it should have H2O. Yes or no? It should have H2O. So a pure chemical compound always contains, these are the pure chemical compounds, okay, always contain same elements. Same elements means both are having hydrogen and oxygen combined together. They have combined together, okay, in the same definite proportion by weight. That proportions are definite, okay. Similarly, in the given molecule, 2 hydrogen and 1 oxygen, 2 hydrogen and 1 oxygen. So in that way you can say that proportions are fixed. Clear? Clear? So that's why that law is given that name, constant composition. The composition is constant, or you can say definite proportions. Is it clear? So a given compound, one more definition is there, that given compound always contains exactly the same proportions of the elements by weight. Okay, in the similar manner that definition is same. And in one more way, that irrespective of the source, okay, that doesn't matter from where you are collecting that given compound. It may be like tap water, okay, it may be like river water, it may be like distilled water, but that compound should be pure, not in the form of mixtures, okay. So a given compound always contains the same elements in the same proportion, okay. They have given that example here in your book, that is a natural sample and lab sample of copper carbonate, in which copper, oxygen and carbon, the percentage of copper is 51.35 in the natural sample, okay. Natural sample means the that is collected from the nature sources, okay. And oxygen, percentage of oxygen is 9.74. Similarly, the percentage of carbon is 38.91. If I am having 100 grams of sample, okay, percentage mean if I am having 100 gram of sample, there will be 51.35 gram of copper, 9.74 gram of oxygen, 38.91 gram of carbon. Clear? So in that way. But in the lab sample, we have collected the same percentage in a given 100 gram sample of cupric carbonate. Means that is the identification, or you can say that that law has proved here, okay, experimentally. Clear? So in that way, just in your book it is given that experimental verification of the law. Clear? Now, law of multiple proportions. It is given by John Dalton, that is law of multiple proportion, that states that when elements combine to form more than one compound, then the masses of one of the elements which combine with the fixed mass of the other element are simple whole number ratio. It seems to be complicated, the definitions seems to be complicated, but these are important definitions that you have to learn in the proper sense. But if you can understand that definition, you can write the definition in the proper way, okay. So just you have to focus that you firstly you can understand and you can write in your own ways, okay. Firstly you have to understand the definition in the proper manner. See, when two elements combine to form more than one compound, okay, for example, if I'm having hydrogen, it combines with oxygen to form water, half molecule of oxygen, and similarly hydrogen combine with oxygen to form hydrogen peroxide. So here when two elements combine, these are the two elements, hydrogen and oxygen, combine to form more than one compound, okay, more than one compound is formed here, then the masses of one of the element which combine, okay, masses of one of the element, anyone you can take, okay, hydrogen or hydrogen, or oxygen you can take, with the fixed mass of the other element, okay, means if that oxygen if I am taking that oxygen and fixing fixing any one of the element, mass of any one element, for example I am going to fix the mass of hydrogen element here, okay, the fixed mass of other element are simple whole number ratio, means that we will get the others mass ratio in the fixed whole number ratio. For example, here hydrogen has atomic mass 1, oxygen has 16, okay, if hydrogen is in the molecular form, so it will be 2, it will be 2 and 16. Now see, hydrogen and oxygen to form water, that is the half molecule of oxygen, so that will be in the atomic form. So 2 plus 16, so here it will be hydrogen and oxygen ratio 2:16, it will be 1:8, okay, it will be 1:8. So 1 gram of hydrogen combined with 8 gram of oxygen, that means this, clear. Now if I am going to fix the mass of hydrogen as 1 gram, here hydrogen plus oxygen to form hydrogen peroxide, but here oxygen will be in this molecular form, so 2 plus 32 gram. So in hydrogen peroxide H2O2, that will be 2:32, it will become 1:16, means 1 gram of hydrogen combined with 16 gram of oxygen. So that 1 gram of hydrogen is fixed here, so the ratio of these two, okay, ratio will be 8:16, it will be 1:2, that is whole number ratio, okay, whole number ratio, okay. So in that way they are saying when two elements combine, when hydrogen and oxygen combine, okay, I am just representing this equation in the form of example so that you can understand in the appropriate manner. When two elements combine, hydrogen and oxygen are the two elements combined to form one, more than one compound, okay, they have formed water and hydrogen peroxide, then the masses of one of the elements, which combine with the fixed mass of the other element, fixed masses of hydrogen we have fixed here, so the masses of oxygen, but that to which thing they are telling about, that masses of oxygen here are simple whole number ratio, means they will have the simple whole number ratio, okay, like here 1:2, clear. Now next one is Gay-Lussac's law of gaseous volume. Now what is that? Gay-Lussac means all the scientists till now they have given the laws related to the mass of elements or mass of atoms or anything else, okay, but this scientist was the first who has given the mass related to the volume of gases, because in case of gases, no, we are not dealing much appropriately related to the masses of the gas, okay, we have to see that there is a change in volumes, okay, and that volume is not related to as in case of masses. That trend is not related to as in masses, like we have used that mass as a conservation of mass, but conservation of volume is not there. Okay, so here Gay-Lussac's law of gaseous volume, that is given by Gay-Lussac. The definition of this law is that when gases combine are produced, okay, when gases are combined, for example hydrogen and oxygen, once again I am taking that example here, okay, they combine or produce in a chemical reaction, they do so in a simple ratio by volume, provided all the gases are at same temperature and pressure. Means at constant temperature and pressure, okay, at constant temperature and pressure gases combine in the whole number ratio. That's it. Okay, that's it. He has given that equation, like here 100 ml of hydrogen combined with 50 ml of oxygen, they will form 100 ml of water. In short way, you can understand that hydrogen and half molecule of oxygen, it will give you H2O. Means that coefficient representing the actual ratio of volume here. It's 1, coefficient is 1, it's 0.5, or you can say half, it is 1. So if we are taking 1 liter of hydrogen, we required half liter of oxygen and we will get 1 liter of water. So in that way you can understand, but till then it was not given in this way. They are giving that definitions or all that terms in terms of the names of the compounds or names of the elements, not in the symbolic forms. Okay, so if you want to understand, you can use that symbolic form, but you have to understand the definition in the proper sense. Clear? Next one is Avogadro's law. This one is the most important law because it is an improved form of Gay-Lussac's law. Okay, it is the improved form of Gay-Lussac's law. Gay-Lussac's law. So here we will discuss about the Avogadro's law. It is Avogadro's law. Okay, Avogadro's law. So Avogadro's law, it is given by Avogadro in 1811. Sorry. An equal volume of gases at the same temperature and pressure should contain equal number of molecules. Before that, Berzelius has given that hypothesis. Okay, Berzelius, he told at constant temperature and pressure equal volume of gases contain equal number of atoms. Okay, in this Berzelius hypothesis, he told that at constant temperature, for example, if I am having container here, two container here, okay, one container is containing hydrogen and the other one is oxygen. Okay, so in this case, these both containers are of 1 liter. What they are saying, at constant temperature and pressure, if I am putting that constant temperature and pressure and here, so equal volume of gases, both gases are having equal volume, contains equal number of atoms. Means if the number of atoms are n here, in case of this chamber, there the number of atoms of oxygen will be n here also. Okay, so in that way they have given that definition. Clear? Is it clear now? If it is having 10 molecules, it will have 10 molecules. If it is having, according to Berzelius, he used that word atoms, but only the difference in the definition in case of Avogadro's law, he used that word only molecules. Okay, he used that word only molecule here. So the definition becomes if I am having hydrogen gas and nitrogen gas, both are of volume 1 liter and 1 liter. Okay, equal volumes, both are having equal volumes of gases, both are gases at same temperatures. Okay, means we are putting that same temperature and pressure. Okay, we are providing that same conditions or constant conditions. Should contain equal number of molecules, means both will have equal number of molecules. For example, if it is having number of molecules 10, so it will have 10 also. Clear? So both will have same number of molecules according to Avogadro's law. Clear? Okay. Now these were the laws of chemical combination. Now we have to discuss about the atomic theories. As you know, so many scientists, so many philosophers has given the introduction related to the atoms. Firstly, as you know that our Indian philosopher Maharishi Kannad has given the definition or introduction regarding the atom. He gave that name Parmanu to the atom. Okay, Parmanu is the basic smallest unit particle of that matter. Okay, matter means according to them they use that Sanskrit word Padarth. So afterwards, so many philosophers from Latin side or Greek philosophers, they have given that introduction regarding the atoms. Afterwards, only that scientist that named Dalton has given the atomic theory related to the properties of atoms also. Okay, all of that have given the definition related to the atom, means that the smallest unit particle, if we are cutting a single piece of any particle, any substance, okay, and we will get a smallest particle that is known as atom. Okay, or atomios, they have used that word, which means uncuttable. Okay, so afterwards Dalton has given the atomic theory and he has given the properties of atoms also related to that. Here the theory is, firstly, these are the postulates. Postulates of theory. Postulates means just assumptions. Okay, or you can say assumptions, like that may happen. Okay, so matter consists of indivisible atoms. Okay, indivisible means non-divisible particles that are atoms. Okay. All the atoms of given element are of identical properties. Okay, means you can say including identical mass, means the if you are having same element, the properties of elements atoms will be same. Okay, or in that way you can say the atoms of same elements have same properties like identical mass. Okay, clear? And atoms of different elements differ in mass. Clear? So you can say if the elements are of same, like if I am having carbon, one atom of carbon here, one atom of carbon here. Okay, all that carbon atom will contain will have that same properties. Okay, so in that way we have to consider that definition, or you can say assumption here. And if I'm having carbon or oxygen or hydrogen or nitrogen, okay, all that different elements, their atom will have different properties. Okay, compounds are formed when atoms of different elements combined in the fixed ratio. That this definition we have discussed in the previous videos also. That is, compounds are formed, that any compound can be formed like water, CO2, okay, any one. Okay, you can take this H2O2, NH3, any that compound is formed with the combination of two or more different elements combined in the fixed ratio by mass. Chemical reaction involves the reorganization of atoms. okay, or any chemical, if there any chemical reaction occurs, there should be requirement of at least one atom, and there are just reorganization of atoms occurs. These are neither created nor be destroyed, means atoms can neither be created nor be destroyed according to Dalton. But all that assumptions were discarded according to the other experimental phenomena that we have discovered in the experiments. Okay, that will be proved in the further sections. Like further section means not here, in your further videos, further knowledge. Okay. Now, what is atomic and molecular mass? Okay, here we have to discuss about the atomic and molecular mass. Atomic mass, what is atomic mass here? Atomic mass, it is the number of times the mass exactly equal to the 1/12 of the mass of carbon 12 atom. Okay, means the mass of 1/12 of carbon 12 atom, means if we are having one atom of carbon 12 isotope. Now what is isotope? Isotopes are those which are having same atomic number but different mass number. That we'll discuss in our further sections also. What are isotope, what are isobars, what are isotones, isosters, isoelectronic species, that we will discuss there. Okay, so if I'm having one atom that may be mass m1, okay, carbon 12 isotope, and its mass m1, okay, and the if I'm taking the 1/12 of this mass, that is considered to be as one atomic mass unit, one atomic mass unit. And how many times that one atomic mass unit is just related to, like we are considering our mass as a multiple of kilograms. So in case of atoms, we are using that unit atomic mass unit. Okay, and here how many times the given atom has mass related to the atomic mass unit. Okay, so in that way we have to use that word. Okay, here atomic mass unit are considered to be as the units of atom, atomic mass. Like our units, our mass unit is kilogram. So in our body's mass is calculated in terms of kilogram. Similarly, the mass of atom is calculated in terms of atomic mass unit. Clear? Okay, we can't use that units as kilogram, because in kilogram there are so many atoms. So we have to calculate the mass of only one atom. Clear? So here atomic mass, it is the number of times the mass exactly equal to the 1/12 of the mass of the carbon 12 atom, and the one atomic mass unit value is like here. Okay, one atomic mass unit value is like here. Is it clear now? Any doubt? So now what is molecular mass according to you? What is molecular mass? What is molecular mass? See, molecular mass is the sum of all the atomic masses. Molecular mass is the sum of all the atomic masses of the atoms that is included in a given molecule. Clear? Yeah, here it is missing here. I just write here now. One atomic mass unit, it will be 1.66 into 10 raised power minus 24 gram. In that way you can write. Clear? Here just missing 4 is there, 24. So now molecular mass, that we will discuss in our further slides. Yes. So atomic mass, average atomic mass, molecular mass we will discuss in the further slides. Firstly, we are getting that atomic mass in the average form. Okay, average form we are getting all that atomic mass. Like in nature, we are getting all that elements in the isotopic form. Okay, isotopes are, as I told you, those are having same atomic number but different mass number. Okay, those are having same atomic number but different mass number. So many naturally occurring elements exist in as more than one isotope. So it will become here like carbon 12, carbon 13, carbon 14. These are the isotopes of carbon. Abundance percentage means that in the percentage abundance we are getting the 98.892% carbon 12 isotope. Means if we are having 100 gram sample of carbon, 100 gram sample of carbon, in that case we will get carbon 12, that will be 98.892 gram, carbon 13 it will be 1.108 gram, and carbon 14 it will become 2 into 10 raised power minus 10 gram. Clear? So in that way we are getting all that samples, but similarly atomic mass units are here. So how we can calculate all that values? Means with that that atomic mass we are getting, that is a mixture of these all terms, these all masses. Okay, if we are having 100 gram of carbon at carbon sample, it will contain carbon 12 also, carbon 13 also, carbon 14 also. If but we are considering only carbon 12, that will be a major mistake there. So we have to consider the average of all these atomic masses or isotopes. Okay, how we can calculate is, how we can calculate average atomic mass? Firstly, you have to multiply that abundance with atomic mass, like here 98.892 multiplied by 12, then plus 1.108 into 13.00335 plus 2 into 10 raised power minus 10 into 14.00317, okay, by 100. We are considering that total mass of the sample is to be 100 gram. So we have to calculate this value, and approximately you will get 12 gram. Okay, approximately 12.01 gram, or approximately you can say 12 gram you will get. So in that way we have to use that this value as the average atomic mass. Is it clear? So let's move next. We have to discuss about the molecular mass and formula mass. See, molecular mass are the just related to the mass of molecules, and formula mass, what is formula mass? In some compounds like crystalline compounds, in crystalline substances like of NaCl. NaCl is made of made up of like here in this way, like if it is the sodium. Okay, so in that way, sodium is there, like here Na. Okay, in that way we are getting NaCl. So NaCl, it's like a crystal lattice. These are the repeating units. So in that way what we have to do, we have to consider their formula mass. Okay, clear? We have to calculate that formula mass like in the form of molecular mass. How we can calculate molecular mass? Like H2O. How we can calculate the molecular mass of water? See, atomic mass of hydrogen is 1. How many hydrogens are there in the water molecule? That is 2, plus Atomic mass of oxygen is 16. How many oxygen we are having in this molecule? 1. So it will be 2 plus 16, that will be 18. Okay, so 18 atomic mass unit that we will have to consider here as the molecular mass. Similarly, for the NaCl, the atomic mass of sodium is 23 and that of chlorine is 35.5. So it will become 58.5. Now the question is that if you remember these values of atomic masses, then you can calculate all the for molecular mass. Okay, so here I'm just going to tell you the trick how to calculate the atomic masses of first 20 elements. Listen carefully. Okay, so here I'm going to tell you about the trick to how to memorize the atomic mass of first 20 elements. Firstly, you have to memorize the first 20 elements in the sequence manner. First one is hydrogen. Second one is helium. Third one is lithium. Fourth one is, all of you write yourself also, okay, side by side, lithium. Then beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, okay, and then is neon. 11th, sodium. 12, magnesium. Okay, then 13th one is, can you tell me that? Aluminium. Okay, 14th, what is that? 14th, anyone? That will be silicon. Phosphorus, sulfur, chlorine, argon, then potassium, then calcium. Okay, so these are the first 20 elements. Now we have to learn their atomic masses. Here you have to learn the atomic masses with the 4 exceptions. Means I will give you the trick, but here you have to learn the 4 exceptions also. Like atomic mass of hydrogen is 1. Okay, atomic mass of hydrogen is 1. That's it. Okay, that's it. Firstly, this one you have to memorize. Afterwards, here I am going to write the trick. If n is atomic number and if n is even, then mass number will be 2n. Just we have to double. And if n is odd, mass number or mass atomic mass will be 2n plus 1. Okay, like here atomic mass is 2, sorry, atomic number is 2, so atomic mass will be 2 into 2, that will be 4. Like here 3 means odd, you have to double it, means that 6 6 plus 1 7. Okay, so similarly it will be 8, it will be 11, it will be 12, okay, it will be 15, it will be 16, it will be 19, it will be 20, it will be 23, 24, okay, 13 double 26, 27, silicon 28, phosphorus 31, sulfur 32, chlorine 35, argon 36, potassium 38, 39, and calcium it will be 40. But I told you four assumptions, for you can say exception, you have to memorize. Okay, so first exception is that of hydrogen. Clear? Second exception is of beryllium. As you know, the beryllium is having even number of atomic number. Okay, even atomic number. So here you have to apply odd rule. Okay, odd number rule. So it will becomes 9. Similarly for nitrogen also. Nitrogen having odd atomic number, here you have to apply even number rule, that will be 14. Okay, double of 7 will be 14. And one more is there, like of chlorine here, that you have to learn, it is 35.5. and one more is there, that is argon, here to add +4, so that it will becomes 40. Okay, so these are the wrong one. Clear? So these 4 or 5 exceptions you have to learn through that you can calculate the atomic masses and molecular masses also. Clear? Is it clear now? Clear? So now we have to move on the next part, that is the molecular mass and formula mass. In that way you can calculate it. Okay, I just want to give you the questions that you have to solve yourself. You have to calculate the atomic mass of CO2, H2SO4, C6H12O6, HCl, HNO3. So this much you have to solve. Okay, that is your homework, you have to solve it. Clear? So that is the end of this lecture, and as usual I just want to say, you stay at home during this COVID period and keep studying, keep motivated here. Okay, so don't lose hope, you have to do your best in your studies. Okay, we'll meet you again. Okay, see you again.